Hello friends, I am Dr. P. K. Paul. Welcome to my channel. Let's think about life differently and change it. So friends, the book I will read today is called The Magic of Thinking Big. Before starting today's video, I inform you that the link of other chapters of this book will be given at description. You can view them from there. So let's begin. Learn to deal with the environment. Become a first-class person. The mind is a strange machine. If the mind thinks in the right way, it can give you unprecedented success. But if the same mind works in a different way, it will lead to nothing but failure. The mind is the most subtle sensory instrument of all creation. Now let's see, what is the reason for the mind to think the way it thinks? Thousands of people have become health conscious today. In our country, everyone is counting calories. We spend millions of dollars on vitamins, minerals and other supplements. We all know why. From nutritional research, we know that the body is directly affected by food intake. Our diet determines our body's performance, immunity, body size, and even how long we live. What the body is fed, the body becomes. As the mind is fed, so does the mind become. Of course, mind food is not available in packets or to buy in stores. Your environment, all the myriad things that influence your conscious and subconscious thoughts, is your mind's food. As the mind gets food, our habits, practices, attitudes and personalities are developed. Each of us inherited certain abilities to develop. But how and to what extent we have developed this ability depends on the food of the mind. Just as the body is a reflection of our diet, it is also a reflection of the influence of the environment. Have you ever wondered what kind of people you would have liked if you were born in the US and grew up somewhere else? Would the costume become yours? What kind of food is the same? How would you like leisure entertainment? What was your religion? Of course, these questions are impossible to answer. However, if you were born in a different period, your personality would probably be completely different. Because you are influenced by other environment. And everyone knows, environment makes people. Remember, environment shapes us, influences our thinking. Give an example of a habit or practice or behavior that you did not learn from someone else. Small things like, the way we talk, cough, hold a cup, music, literature, leisure, clothing, our likes and dislikes are largely influenced by the environment. More importantly, the environment plays a major role in shaping your thoughts, your outlook on life's purpose, your entire personality. If we associate with pessimistic people for a long time, we will think the same. Associating with ordinary people, in our work, that triviality will manifest itself in practice. Again, if we socialize with people who can think big, we will become in our thinking. There will be improvement. We are also ambitious with ambitious people. Experts believe that the way you are today, your personality, aspirations, current situation in life is mainly a result of your mental environment. Experts also know that your future environment will play an important role in what you will become 50 to 20 years from now. You too will change in a few months or years. We all know this. But how, in which way you change will determine your future environment. The food of your mind will change it. Now let's see how to get satisfaction and growth from the future environment. Step 1. Set yourself up for success. Big and big, the main obstacle to success is the feeling of, I can't achieve anything big. At the root of such a view are many thoughts that are stuck in the mind, which make us insignificant ordinary people. We have to go back to our childhood days to properly understand and recognize these forces buried in the mind. As a child, everyone has lofty goals, great goals. From a very young age, We dream of conquering the unknown, of leading, of working in important positions, of exciting jobs, of becoming very famous and rich, in short, of becoming the first, the biggest, the best. And the way to reach the goal is sitting in the happiness of our ignorance. But what happens in reality? A variety of inhibitory influences become active before attempting to reach the goal. Can see. Everywhere we hear, dreaming is foolish. Our thoughts are illusory, improbable, absurd, or ridiculous. We hear, we need money to be very successful in life, or fate controls our future, or you are too old. B. Absolutely raw age. After hearing the trying no gains, succeeding is not so straightforward propaganda over and over again, most people become one of the following. The first group, those who give up completely. Most people begin to believe in themselves that they do not have that power. True success and achievement only come to lucky people. People belonging to this group are easy to identify. They are quick to explain their status and to show that they are happy. A very intelligent gentleman, aged 32, was recently explaining to me why he was in crisis in his hopelessly menial yet secure job. He explained very well, but he himself knew that he was trying to deceive himself and me. He wanted a job where he could develop himself. But numerous dampening influences had convinced him that he was unfit for greatness. The truth is, this group is disaffected, job-seeking. The application is completely different from people looking for it. Their livelihood is like an open grave with no future prospects. Their lives are as futile as wandering around aimlessly hoping that fate will ever be good. Second group, those who have given up a bit. The second, relatively small group hopes that someday he will succeed as he steps into adulthood. They prepare themselves, plans hard. But 10 years later, when the road to Nirsha became impassable with obstacles and competition all around, the team decided that it was foolish to wish for more success. They explained themselves, I am serving more than the common people, I am more comfortable than the rest. And what's the use of increasing the competition? In fact, fear arises in the minds of this group. Fear of failure, social disapproval, fear of losing security, fear of losing what they have. They are not satisfied, because in their hearts they know that they have surrendered. In this group you will find many talented, intelligent people who have learned to crawl but are afraid to run. Third group, those who don't surrender at all. This group is probably only 2 to 3%. They do not entertain pessimistic thoughts, do not succumb to repressive forces, do not like to creep. They succeed. They live for success. Since they get the most achievements, they are the happiest. Individuals in this group have an annual income of more than $15,000. They are the best salesmen, executives, leaders in their respective fields. Get Up Life encourages them and rewards them, so this is the value of life, realizes for them, every day is new, the opportunity to socialize with new people is exciting and enjoyable for them. To be honest, we all belong to this third group. Everyone in the team becomes more successful than before every year by working, getting results, getting benefits, want that. To enter and remain in this group we must confront the repressive forces of our environment. People from the first and second groups may unintentionally block your way forward. 1. Give an example. Imagine sitting down in front of your friends and muttering, I'm going to be the vice president of this company one day. What will happen to it? Your friends may think you are joking, and if someone believes you, they'll say, you poor thing, you still have so much to learn. They may laugh at you in your absence and think that you have lost your mental balance. Now, Suppose the same statement is said with the same sincerity to the president of your company, how would he react? One thing is certain, he will not laugh. Will observe you well. Think to yourself, is this really what it wants to be? Again, he will not laugh. Because great people, big people have big thoughts. Never bursts out laughing. Or imagine telling the average person that you want to buy a $50,000 house one day. They might laugh, think it's impossible. But tell the same thing to someone who doesn't make $50,000, because he made it possible. Remember, those who say the work is impossible are almost inevitable book failures. They have not achieved anything in their work, so they are small, insignificant. Their opinions are as harmful as poison. Resist those who try to prove to you that success is impossible. Challenge their pessimism and prove them wrong. Another thing to be very careful about, don't let the pessimists derail your success plan. These pessimists or not, complainers are everywhere. They take pleasure in obstructing the progress of others. WW was my classmate and friend for few sessions in college. W's JBL friend was good. He was free to help out when money was tight or other small help. Despite all these virtues, WWE was 100% critical of life and future. He was a true naysayer. At that time I used to read the writings of a newspaper writer in Sotsa. It is hope, ambition, constructive thoughts and opportunities in life etc. Specially wrote on the subject. Whenever WW saw me reading or heard the author's writings, she would say, "Oh God, Dave Kagche read the first page and there you will find the pure truth of life. This author is trying to win the hearts of weak people by writing sweet words." Whenever we discussed improving in life, W would come up with his fancy formula for making money. In his own words, there are only 3 ways to make money these days. Bitch some rich woman, or learn to cheat legally or associate with the right people who can do things for you. WW always had an arsenal of examples to support its formula. Showing the example of the front page of the newspaper, it said that a leader of thousands of workers ran away with the money of the labor union. He was looking for such rare news, like the millionaire woman with the fruit. Got married. He knew someone whose acquaintances were more wealthy gentlemen, so this first gentleman got a golden opportunity and became a big man. WW was older than me in age and scored well in engineering. He was like my elder brother. Listening to her, I myself lost my basic belief in success and was influenced by her no dahi philosophy. Fortunately, a long discussion with WW one evening brought me back to life. I felt like I was hearing the language of failure. I realized that WW wasn't trying to convince me, it was trying to convince itself. From then on I began to observe WW with a new perspective. Instead of accepting words, I observed him thoroughly, by thinking, what is the result of these pessimistic thoughts? I tried this non-plaintive friend of mine as the subject of my personal research. Became 11 long years of no meeting with WW. Just a few months ago she met a third friend of both of us. WW is hiring a low-paying draftsman in Washington. I asked my friend if he saw any change in your W. No. The only change that is noticeable is that he has become more pessimistic than before. He has to cope with adverse circumstances. He has 4 children, living on a meager salary has become difficult. While W can earn 5 times more with his education, but unable to use his intellect. Such non-religious people exist everywhere. Some non-religious people are big-hearted, like my friend WW, who want to help others. But some non-religious people are selfish, vindictive. Since they couldn't move forward in life, so they don't want to let you move forward too. Since they feel themselves unworthy, they want to make you unworthy and worthless. Be careful, observe these non-believers. They should not disrupt your success plan in any way. Once a young worker said he changed his carpool. He said, during our office commute, one of our colleagues used to criticize only 4 companies all the time. He used to find fault with everything the management did. From the supervisor to the manager, everyone worked. Or was there an error? According to him, something is wrong, he found fault. Our products were useless to him. All Polidi walked into the office every morning with an overwhelming anxiety. And the line, on the way home at night, he had 45 minutes of enlightenment. After listening to the account, I entered the house with a sad heart. Finally I started commuting to office with another Doshburi pool. I see a lot of difference in this. Now those who I travel with can judge both our workplace Dobganj equally. This young man changed his environment. Smart, isn't it? Undoubtedly, your personality can be judged by your friends. Like-minded people stick together. Colleagues don't have different mindsets and types. Some are optimistic, some are not religious, pessimistic, many work because they have to work, many are ambitious, they want to advance in life, so they work. Some associates are bossy and find fault with everything, while others are focused, matter of fact, who know that they need to become good followers before they can become good at taking. Aman's thoughts are directly influenced by the people we associate with. So choose the right partner. There are a few things to be aware of at work. In all groups there are people who are conscious of their own inadequacies and want to become obstacles to your progress. Satirizes, even intimidates, the efforts of many ambitious people to become active and powerful. It is undeniable that some jealous people try to humiliate you in the hope of improving you. This is often seen in factories, where workers focused on increasing productivity are disliked by others. When a young soldier in military service desperately tries to get into the school, the pessimists make fun of him to the officers. This is also the case in business, when a few incompetent people hinder the success of others. 2. Maybe you have seen the boy in high school who takes advantage of the opportunity to get good grades. His stupid classmate tease him, etc. Sometimes, sadly, so often the brilliant student is abused in such a way that he begins to think that studying, being an intelligent good boy, is stupid. Ignore these destructive people completely. Because it is often seen that people making such comments against you are not so much personal attacks. These comments only reflect the failure of the speaker and Tosha's own feelings. Don't let these non-religious pessimists drag you down to their level. Don't be swayed by their words, just like a duck's back doesn't fry even when it's in water. Stay in touch with the progressives. Go ahead with them. If you think in the right way, you can definitely do the job. A special warning: be careful about the source of advice. In most organizations you will find some dedicated consultants, the everyman, independent consultant to advise a smart new employee about the office and is eager to give advice. I was one myself once. Heard, it's wise to keep to yourself and not socialize too much here. People here will get to know you and put all the work on you, especially be careful about Mr. G, the Vivan manager. If he thinks if you don't have much money, I will do everything with you. This self-employed consultant gentleman has been with the company for 30 years and has not improved. An ideal mentor for energetic young workers. Take advice from those who are real scholars. The idea that this proximity is difficult to achieve in a successful manner is wrong. Talking to them is not difficult at all. Rather, it appears that successful people are more humble, ready to testify. Since they are devoted to their work and success, they want to keep the work alive, they want the right successor to take the work forward after their retirement. Possible people are weird and arrogant. $140 an hour executive put it bluntly. I'm always busy at work, but I don't hang, do not disturb, cards on my office door. One of my public responsibilities is to give people the right advice. We provide various types of training to all companies but personal advice. In my language, education is available if you want it. Anyone who may come up here with company or personal problems, I am ready to help them, especially those who are eager and willing to do their work and other related work. I want to help them. However, he said, I do not agree to waste time on those who are worthy of advice and are not devoted to the Hajj. If you have questions or queries, ask the subject matter expert. Seeking the advice of unsuccessful people is as dangerous as trying to cure cancer with a hammer. Many executives these days make sure to talk to the applicant's spouse before hiring someone for an important position. A sales executive explained it to me. I want to make sure that the prospective salesman has the full support of his family, that he is willing to cooperate, even when his family members are unhappy with his travel schedule, irregular work hours, and other related difficulties in the field. Will give full support. Executives these days understand that what happens on weekends and between 6 p.m. and 9 a.m. has a direct impact on the executive's 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. work. A worker whose family life is happy, disciplined, is inevitably more successful than a worker whose family life is not so happy. Let us observe the traditional way of spending leisure time of two colleagues, John and Milton. This is what feeds John's mind at the end of the week, usually an evening spent with a few like-minded friends. Another evening may be spent going out, watching a movie, doing social work or at a friend's house. Saturday mornings are Boy Scout activities. Busy with doing household chores on Saturday afternoon. He is busy with a job. For example, these days he is in the backyard. His family members do special work. One Sunday they went trekking, another Rabea. On Sundays there are people and wishes. Went to the museum. Sometimes they go to the neighboring villages. Something happens in the second direction, often what he. Sunday afternoon is spent relaxing. John reads books, sums up news shows. John spends his weekends busying himself with well-planned, non-enjoyable activities. So he gets plenty of food. Milton's mind is not as coherent as John's. There are no end-of-week calculations. Usually on a Friday night, Milton is tired but asks his wife the customary question, what can we do tonight? And that's where their plans end. Milton and his wife invite a lot of people, very few are invited. Milton wakes up at 3 a.m. on Saturday, the rest of the day is spent doing housework. The Milton family goes to the movies or watches TV. Sunday morning they go to Bill and Mary's house. The Miltons have regular visits to Mary's house. Milton's entire weekend is spent in boredom. On Sunday, the mood of the whole family became bad. There may not be so many fights, but everyone seems to be fighting. Milton's weekends are dull, dreary, juicy. Deprived of joyful moments. What kind of effect does John and Milton have on the two families? Noticeable effects may be seen in a week or two. However, it has a huge impact in a few months or years. Under the influence of John's environment, he feels refreshed, his energy increases, he thinks anew. His condition is similar to that of a well-fed player. He remains unsatisfied with the pattern of Milton's environment, undisturbed by his power of thought. Sherminton's situation is similar to what happens when a player is fed only sweets or beer. Today John and Milton are on the same level, but in the days to come the gap between them will widen, John will advance. On the face of it, many would say, John's works are better than Milton's. But those of us who know can give the real explanation, that is, the difference in the food of the mind. Farmers know that more fertilizer increases production. Similarly, to get more benefits, it is necessary to provide proper food for thought. My wife, myself and 5 other couples were the guests of a department store executive and his wife one fine evening last month. We left shortly after the rest of the guests left. A question lingered in my mind all evening. I asked a well-known host. The evening was very nice, but I didn't understand one thing. I expected to meet most of the retail executives here. I see your guests are working in various fields. Someone is a writer. Some are doctors, some are engineers. The accountant teacher smiled and replied, "It's true, I often criticize people in retail. But Helen and I both find it exciting to socialize with people in the business world. I think we're frogs in the well if we only socialize with our familiar world. Let's go. Besides," he said, "my business is with people. Every day people come to our store from different professions, different fields. And the more I know about them, about their philosophies, hobbies, thoughts, the more suitable products I can present to them, the more they will buy those geniuses." Quote, "Here are some ways to make your social environment first class. 1. Socialize with new groups. Confining one's social environment to a small group makes it dull, boring, monotonous. Another important factor is knowing people for success. Trying to get to know people by confining yourself to a small dress is like learning arithmetic by reading a small book. Make new friends, join new organizations, expand your social circle. Moreover, like any other thing, the variety of people brings new flavor to life, gives life a wider direction, provides the juice of the mind. 2. Make friends whose opinions are completely different from yours. In today's world, narrow-minded people have a bleak future. And the rank and file can judge all aspects of that job. If you support the Republican Party, you have some Democrats. Thus the reverse also applies. Associate with people of different faiths. Talk to introverts. But let X alone, they are all potential sane. Choose friends who rise above petty, unnecessary things. Near those who are more interested in the size of your house or what appliances you have or don't have than your thoughts and words, care about trivial matters. Keep your mind clear. Find friends who are interested in constructive work, who see your true success. May your friends breathe life into your plans, your thoughts. If you don't make insignificant people your closest friends, you will start to think more and more insignificant yourself, person is. We are poison conscious, body poison conscious, race. Every restaurant owner is vigilant about food contamination. 8. Their customers will run away if there is a food contamination incident. There are thousands of laws and regulations to protect the public from all kinds of pollution and poisoning. Poisonous items are always or should be kept out of the reach of small children. We make every effort to keep the body safe from toxins. This is very good. However, there is another, more terrible poisoning of the mind. That is, the well-known gossip. This poison of the mind is a little different from the poison of the body. That affects the mind and the effect is mild. The poisoned man is many times may not know about poisoning. Although the effect is very slow, the marriage of the mind is damaged to a great extent. This narrows our thinking and we give undue importance to these matters. It creates a distorted idea about people. Because they are not factual, they distort the facts. Meet the person who is the subject of our condemnation in tuberculosis. Either we get infected, the poison of the mind contains 0% right thoughts, 100% wrong thoughts, will be guilty. Only women gossip, this is well known. Baseless every day many men live in a partially toxic environment. Many men's daily rants include bosses changing life problems or financial problems, possibility of John's replacement, special bias toward Tom, and real motive for hiring new people. Goshandrika of gossip is like this. I heard that, nothing to be surprised about. It must have been, oh, it's an insider's talk. The concept is close. Conversation is a big part of our mental environment. Conversation is healthy, pleasant, and motivating. The light of spring is like going for a walk in the morning. After listening to a few conversations, the mother won herself over. Again, some of the conversations seem toxic. Radio Aki is walking the path. People become suffocated and feel hopeless. Gossip means slandering, criticizing others, and as if infected with mind poison, he enjoys this gossip at first, He takes a strange pleasure in giving or criticizing, but does not realize that in the eyes of successful people he is becoming increasingly unlovable and untrustworthy. A discussion about Benjamin Franklin with friends. On that day, a gentleman with such a poisonous attitude came. The berserk gentleman, who learned of our discussion, made salacious, certainly scandalous, remarks on Rosalind's private life. It is true that Franklin was a remarkable figure, and if there had been such a magazine of scandal in the present 18th century he would undoubtedly have been in the headlines. But we weren't discussing Benjamin Dockland's personal life then. Moreover, I thought that everyone present was not being criticized. Discuss others. But it should not reach the body of gossip. Another thing to make clear, not all discussions are gossip. Arguments, discussions about work, talking about currents, are all important. Constructive discussions can serve great purposes. With this test you can check your inner gossip tendencies. Do I gossip about others? 2. Do I always speak well of others? Do I love to hear scandalous stories? Do I verify others based on facts only? Am I encouraging others to spread rumors? 6. Do I start with, don't tell anyone but? 7. Can you protect the privacy of private secrets? 8. Everyone knows that I am the right answer for my comments about others, in guilt. Think about it this way. Would your furniture look better if you could take an axe and smash all of your neighbor's furniture? Not at all. Similarly, you cannot prove yourself great by criticizing others. Become first class. I once asked a group of students to give personal biographical examples to illustrate the absolute utility of thinking like a first-class person, not just choosing the best way to do everything, but also the best product or service to use. I bowed a few times. I bought a cheap suit from an unknown shop. Bhavla made a great profit, but the suit was not good at all. My car needed a new automatic transmission. A small unauthorized garage agreed to fix it for $25 less than the authorized dealer. But the new transmission didn't last 1,800 miles. And the garage refused to fix it again. For several months I was eating at this cheap hotel to save a couple of paise. The place is not clean, the food is expensive. Hospitality, if it can be called hospitality, and customer are two people. One day a friend took me to lunch at one of the best restaurants in town. I saw him ordering businessman lunch and asked him to give it too. To my surprise, I got delicious food, nice hospitality, nice atmosphere for the price I eat for a little more. A good lesson was learned that day. Many people said many things. One even said that he fell for the Bureau of Internal Affairs to get a cheap accountant. Another went to see a cheap doctor, only to realize that the doctor had not diagnosed his exact disease. Many others gave various examples of cheap 3 conditions in home repair, hotels and other goods services. However, I often have to use the first class is beyond my means excuse. The simplest simple answer, everything but first class is out of your reach. In fact, first class things do save. It's better to keep a few of the best things instead of buying a lot of crap. How 1 pair of good shoes will be more profitable than 3 pairs of shoes. People judge each other by quality, sometimes subconsciously. So look at the qualities of things. Profitable groom. Moreover, it is often more economical than the cheaper ones. 1. Create the environment that makes you successful become eco-conscious. For the mind is for the body. 2. Won't let the environment work in your favor, not against you. That is, pessimistic people should not defeat you. Suppressive century. 3. Don't let mean-spirited people get in your way. Don't allow selfish, jealous people to enjoy the joy of seeing you stumble. 4. Take advice from successful people. Your future is very important, nor indulge self-appointed public knowledge givers. 5. There should be no shortage of mental resources. A large amount of mind logistics is required. Nudge team meet new people. Take part in new incentives. 6. Do not allow the mind to be poisoned, do not indulge in blasphemy. Talk about honor, but only say good things. 7. Be first class in all work. Everything else is beyond your control.